Well, hello everyone. Welcome to our preview of the Browns-Ravens game, Sunday at FirstEnergy Stadium. Those darn Ravens, they just keep beating the Browns. John Harbaugh is 11-1 against the Browns. Joe Flacco is 11-1 against the Browns. They just can't seem to buy a victory. But they got one in the previous game, 24-18. Jason Campbell was the quarterback back then.
Yes, he was.
See, I told you how good he was.
Well, yes. Look, the Browns played them very well last year. Both games were pretty low scoring. I thought the Browns should have won the game in Baltimore. That was one of Brandon Weeden's worst games. Missed Chris Openeye on a wide open pass would have given them the lead. So I think the Browns can play with these guys. I mean, over the years the games have been close, but I think that game last week, they made some plays at the end of the game. That's what they need to do. Maybe that gives them some confidence going into this game. Well,
you look at this game, the Browns are coming off that big victory over the Saints. The Ravens are coming off a big victory over division rival Pittsburgh, 26-6. They just crushed the Steelers, didn't they?
Yeah, it's a hard go for the Steelers this year, I think, especially defensively. But yeah, it's a decent Ravens team. And a team that, I think has only given up one long touchdown this year. These Browns are going to have to earn their points.
And you know what? Once again, we are talking about another loaded offense. Look at these guys. First of all, you've got Joe Flacco, who can get the ball out, 65 yards, even throwing off of his back foot at times. You've got Torrey Smith. Now you've got Steve Smith, who they added as a free agent in the offseason. You've got the tight ends. Dennis Pitta is back. And then you've got Owen Daniels. So and the running backs.
Yeah.
So this is going to be a very tough challenge for the Browns.
One thing that's interesting about this matchup, Mary-Kay, is you're bringing in Gary Kubiak, the former Houston coach, who is now the offensive coordinator there, and they kind of run similar the wide zone schemes. And one of the things they were talking about is the Browns feel like they have an advantage early in the game because so few teams run this, that you can surprise some teams early in the game with running the ball. The Browns should be able to repel it defensively because they practice against it. So we'll see how the Browns do defensively against the run.
And conversely, I think this is the best defense that the Browns have faced to this point. We have not seen good defensive performances out of Rob Ryan's defense with the Saints and for sure against Pittsburgh. So I think this is going to be a tough defensive challenge for the Browns, and they might not be with Jordan Cameron again. He still has a shoulder injury. He's been limited. We don't know if he's going to be able to play.
Yeah, and you bring up a good point earlier in the week, Mary-Kay, that one of the questions the Browns have to be asking themselves with the bye week next week, you just give him one more week. So maybe that shoulder, which he injured in training camp, has some chance to really heal 2 or 3 good weeks, and he should be good to go the rest of the season.
Now, of course, we know that some of the names on that defense that always seem to crop up year after year, the first one that you have to always look at is Terrell Suggs. He got his start playing under Mike Pettin, and he's obviously a terrific pass rusher. He has great battles with Joe Thomas.
Yeah, and those should continue. Then you add a guy like last year when you add in Elvis Dumervil, who the Browns know pretty well from playing him not only in Baltimore last year, but in Denver. And then, of course, Haloti Ngata. Everyone knows the story of Haloti Ngata. It's a really good defense.
It is. They seem like, they seem like they're kind of back from last year was an off year for them. And I don't know, it just seems like they have their early momentum.
Yeah, I mean, they came off, to me, the best team in the division is still Cincinnati, but they played them okay. They got their groove back last week, and we'll see where they go from here. Last year was a year where, because they signed Joe Flacco to that huge contract, it was a kind of a transition year. Now let's see if they can build back this quickly, or it's going to take a little longer.
They've put behind them, it seems, or at least to overcome the Ray Rice controversy. They pulled together, they beat the Steelers. Now they're coming in here, and this is going to be a big game, obviously, for the Browns. They have their momentum, but Brian Hoyer, he's going to need to go out and have the kind of game that he had against the Saints. And those guys that stepped up for him in that game, the Andrew Hawkins, the Gary Barnishes, they're going to have to do it again against a good defense.
Yeah, you're right. And to do it one time is one thing, but to do it a couple times, this is where we're going to see how much a guy like Jordan Cameron, if he can't go, is missed. How much a guy like Ben Tate, a guy like Josh Gordon is going to be missed. Can they do it multiple times? That's the question.
And can the baby backs keep rolling over people? let's see how they do against a really good run defense in the Ravens. Terrence West, this is kind of a big game for him because he's from the area, went to Towson. I'm sure he'd like to have a good game.
Sure, and the Ravens were a team that were really interested in him. John Harbaugh talked about it the other day. So, yeah, I'm sure there's going to be some juices flowing. There's also going to be some juices flowing on the offensive side from the Browns. His coach, Wilbert Montgomery, was let go from them. So was Andy Moeller, who was on that staff last year. So there's a lot of incentive.
So there's plenty to play for. A big AFC North game Sunday at FirstEnergy Stadium. And we'll have it all right here for you on cleveland.com.